It's 10 a.m. Do you know where your AI is? Free training through 2023. And here's the sequel to the Quantum Supremacy. These stories and much more on today's episode of MSP Dispatch.
This episode is presented by OIT VoIP. Enhance your client's communication abilities with our VoIP solution, featuring integrated billing, on-demand training, and live US support. Collaborate seamlessly with Microsoft Teams integration and put your entire phone system in your pocket with Mobile X. Improve your offerings and increase profitability with reliable service for 1/10 of the average MSP acquisition cost. To learn more, visit oit.co or dial 844-CALL-OIT.
Good morning and welcome to the June 23rd episode of MSP Dispatch, your source for news, community events, and commentary in the MSP channel. I'm Ray Orsini, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Tony Francisco. How you doing, Tony?
Excellent, brother. Excellent. So I just real quick want to say, for those of you who haven't seen the B-reel at the end of the videos, there is so many funny things that happen, and we can't post all of them, obviously, but there's like laughter, like real laughter inside this, the making, the pre-production stuff, and then the little connective tissue in between during the production phase. It's amazing. Anyway, I just want to point that out.
I can't wait until we start doing these live, like with an audience, so they can see the pre-production and how stupid you and I really are. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just the at this point, it's more hanging out and talking dolphins with friends, and then we do a little bit of news also.
There's some news in there. There's some news.
And to continue to hold up that standard of fun stuff plus a little bit of news. Kelly, again, I'm sorry. Tony, I bought something. And I bought something you're probably going to want to buy. And it will ship in time so you have it for 4th of July weekend.
Okay, you have my attention.
So I bought this Bluetooth controlled, completely wireless, battery-backed igniter for fireworks.
I love the way you include for fireworks. There's a delay where all of our imaginations went off the chart there.
You know, I fully understand that Phil edits this stuff, but I don't want the FBI knocking on my door. We
already know all the large language models are looking at all of our video, and they're going to look like us, talk like us, and blah blah blah. And rest assured, you just got the little black label across. Danger, igniting things remotely.
That makes me so happy to think that somewhere out there, there's a large language model that is consuming MSP Dispatch content, and we're training AI.
That is hilarious. Could we be the future, like Abbott and Costello, of news anchors throughout the industry? It's palatable, it's educational, it's wildly short-sighted yet insightful, and totally impulsive yet structured for the betterment of everyone. I'm calling it MSP Dispatch is the future.
For those that don't know, this is why I tell Tony regularly, he is the best wingman / cheerleader / guy you will ever have in your corner.
Don't associate me with best wingman trigger. Don't anything. We just got done with the wireless triggers over here. I'm not getting pulled in your black hole of FBI and NSA.
That which of course I bought, and I bought 200 igniters, and I'm going to be doing this whole show around this whole music produced like fireworks show, and I'll record it in all its ridiculous glory. Awesome. But to be fair, I'm not the only one that is making it. I'm not the only one that is instigating this behavior. This was brought to me from our community. This was brought to me from one of the Slacks where they said, "Hey, I know you like fireworks. Did you see this?" And 30 seconds later, it was being shipped. So, but we're not here for fireworks. Maybe we are. I think we're here for news, though. Should we get into it?
Let's get into the news. And jumping into our first story from bleepingcomputer.com, over 100,000 ChatGPT accounts were stolen via info-stealing malware. Over the past year, more than 100,000 user accounts for ChatGPT were stolen by an information-stealing malware, according to the dark web marketplace data. Cyber intelligence firm Group IB discovered over 100,000 info stealer logs containing ChatGPT accounts on underground websites, with the highest number of new credential pairs posted in May 2023. Asia Pacific was the most targeted region, with nearly 41,000 compromised accounts, followed by Europe with around 17,000. Group IB's data showed that the majority of stolen ChatGPT logs were obtained through the Raccoon stealer. The stolen data, including ChatGPT accounts, can provide insights to sensitive information, proprietary code, and more. Concerns over data security have led companies like Samsung to ban the use of ChatGPT internally on work computers. OpenAI, the organization behind ChatGPT, slated that the data breach was a result of malware on users' devices, not an OpenAI breach, and encouraged users to follow best practices in security. They are currently investigating the exposed accounts. Ray, I believe, I'm just throwing this one out there, it doesn't matter how secure a software, an application, a process is. The moment we involve humans, we invoke levels of insecurity and vulnerabilities. We expose quite a few things that were, frankly, just you can't seal it up unless you air gap it. What is the solution here? Because I feel like ChatGPT, their name's getting brought into this of, oh, ChatGPT, the logs, so on. These people had malware in some capacity on their device that, of course, was able to pull this data. What are your thoughts on this? Are they going too far in this article? Is this just another reference point of, hey, secure practices?
So I like Bill. We use Bill a lot. And the things I'm going to say, I absolutely have respect for Bill and the articles he writes. The things I'm going to say are not an admonishment of him or his work by any means. This does feel a little clickbaity to me. This feels a little bit like when we see these stories that come out, I'll use ConnectWise. I have friends over there. ConnectWise ConnectWise used for ransomware attacks. And really what it was is they were using a free trial of, control. And, the person logged in and, they got access through social engineering or whatever else. It's blaming a hammer for, somebody being malicious with it. And so it's not really ChatGPT. It's just bad people doing bad things. It does create a moment of concern for me, though, because let's look at the bigger thing here. ChatGPT has a ton of data. It's learning on a ton of data, and we are willingly feeding it a ton of data. My inner conspiracy theorist says, in 2023, most people, they don't even think about what privacy means anymore. It's not a consideration. It doesn't exist. And so we've gone completely overboard on that, and now not worrying about our picture out everywhere, we're recorded everywhere, our metadata is everywhere. Now we're actually feeding AI with our experiences, and so that creates a much more dangerous repository, because this isn't your BOA, this isn't your your Florida Power and Light, or this is your everything. It's fed on everything. And so I would be very surprised if hackers weren't already targeting that data repo. I don't even know how they could use it, but I know that would definitely be an F around and find out kind of initiative for me. Absolutely worthwhile.
ChatGPT. Here is my username and password for this amazing script. Can you write me a script to automate this process? Well, if they have access to that, boom, they have the username and password.
Oh no, somebody's going in and saying, my password is this. Is it secure enough? And ChatGPT is coming back and saying, no, here's a better password, and they're using that.
Hold on, let me ask. Hey everyone, Ray has this password for this service. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I think this is clickbaity in some baity. I like the conjugation there. Clickbaity in some aspects, but it also happens so often. It happens to everyone everywhere. Please, everyone, be safe. Security practices, stay up to date and educated. Training is training. Can you talk about training, Ray?
Yeah, I think I can do that. And our second top story, Kaseya and Datto's training update. This is taken from Reddit's RMSP, and the story was suggested by Kevin Dekayevich on the MMN Discord. This week, a user posted an announcement from Kaseya and Datto regarding changes to their online learning platforms and certification programs. The announcement stated that from August 1st, a new combined learning platform will be accessible via Kaseya University, providing training for both Kaseya and Datto product suites. Business as usual so far. While some certifications will remain free, Datto's certified deployment specialist programs will become paid tiers. While the announcement sparked criticism from Reddit users, user NetMac posted that he received the same notice but with no mention of the paid tiers. On the 21st of June, Kaseya posted that based on customer feedback, Kaseya and Datto have decided to extend the transitional period for advanced level Datto certifications to paid tiers. The certifications will remain free until 2023, allowing customers to complete the Datto Certified Deployment Specialist and Certified Advanced Technician programs without any charge through December 31st. In 2024, select courses, including Datto Certified Practitioner level certifications, will remain free. The extension will assist customers in preparing for future costs, managing any potential impact on their businesses. Tony, vendors offering certifications and training, that's nothing new. What is new is these changes with Datto, right? These are Datto certifications that were free. And from a vendor perspective, you want the MSPs to learn about, get familiar with, become experts on your products because they're going to sell it more often. But I do understand the value of some certifications. As a CCIE holder, an MCSE holder, I get the value of some certifications and the cost it takes to get those. But it's usually, these certifications aren't usually in those categories. Do you think it's going to affect MSPs once these become paid items? Do you think they're going to be as eager to get these same certifications?
Let's talk to the MSP community out there for a moment, very specifically to the MSP sales leaders. There are 3 ways to guarantee that your salespeople do not sell something. First one, don't pay them. Pretty simple. Just easy. Just be blunt. Second one, don't support them. So once the sale is done, there's not a lot of support, post-sale support, and then they really struggle with that. And the final and the most important regarding this topic, don't educate them. This particular topic right now, we can manage the expectations for just a moment. If you're not educating the very people you want to sell this, to promote this, to support this in some capacity, good luck with carrying new business sales. The kinetic energy that took you to get to where you are was based on something. And if you start pulling on threads, something's going to unravel soon. These are very predictable threads. Don't pay them, don't support them, don't teach them. Now, granted, that is just salespeople. Every salesperson in the MSP world knows exactly what I just said. Now, talking to business leaders, IT, tech, salespeople, plug your ears, you can go to sleep right now. Techie, business, money, techie. You still got to certify these people. You still got to educate them in some capacity. And I'm really questioning, frankly, what level of training and certification we're talking about. Is it entry-level stuff? Because that should be free and that should be promoted. That should be the priming the pump, for lack of a better term. Is it intermediate stuff? Now we got an interesting conversation. Is it advanced stuff? I can understand you mentioned the CCIE, the training, $12,000 to go out there to spend a couple days out in Texas and get your brain completely ripped out, put back in, swished around.
Tony. Years.
And right now he's talking about his therapy bill. Everyone,
yes,
he's not even talking
exactly
about the years of torture. It's the years after of therapy. I'm a firm believer that as you are starting to pay for something, you should have some mechanism of therapy because you're paying for something to really put you through the ringer.
I don't disagree, but to take this back, like my MCSE, my IE, yes, they're vendor specific, but they're tools I could take into any other arena, right?
100%.
Your Cisco training, that's one of the reasons I'm a big fan of the CCNAs, because those networking knowledge, you absolutely can transport it to other arenas and it'll be useful. Even the Microsoft stuff. Microsoft is ubiquitous, but if you learn a PSA or a backup or an RMM platform and your next job doesn't use it, you're kind of SOL. You're almost guaranteed they're using Microsoft servers. You're absolutely guaranteed they have a switch installed somewhere. Yeah, they may not be using your same PSA or BCDR. And so, I don't know the value. I'd love to hear from MSPs, especially owners or people taking the training. Is this of interest to you? Are you going to still pay for it in 2024? Was it on your roadmap? Please let us know in Discord or in the comments below. But for now, Tony, what I really want to know is how many qubits can you get me?
Qubits. Must be talking about quantum computing. In my next story from TechCrunch.com, Microsoft expects to build a quantum supercomputer within 10 years, from Frederic Lardinois. Microsoft made a breakthrough last year by creating Majorana-based qubits, which are highly stable but challenging to produce. The team has now published a peer-reviewed paper showcasing its progress towards a quantum supercomputer. The next milestone is to develop hardware-protected qubits that are small and fast enough for efficient operations. The team plans to work on entangling these qubits and eventually build a smaller multi-qubit system. Microsoft's roadmap faces competition from IBM, IonQ, and others in a race to move beyond the current era of NISQ, noise intermediate scale quantum computing. In addition, Microsoft announced Azure Quantum Elements, a platform that combines high-performance computing, AI, and quantum for scientific discovery, along with Copilot for Azure Quantum, an AI model to aid in quantum calculations and simulations. Ray, 1.21 qubits. I'm under the impression, and I'm just throwing this out there, you and I were literally some of the first people out there that were talking about ChatGPT in October of last year. And it's mainstream everywhere. And everyone's talking about quantum. But when it hits, do you think you and I are actually going to be talking about it? And what is that window of viability where it's now everything everywhere, you have to be there, and the people that were there in the beginning are going to be so far ahead just because of the sheer processing power of quantum computing? Talk to me.
Tony, the spaghetti math you just gave me kind of just broke my head. This is very much Marty McFly goes back to the 50s and, takes his mom to the what was it? The seafoam, whatever, dance. I forgot what it was. I'm going to get yelled at now in the Discord in the comments below. So the enchantment under the sea, Phil for the win. Oh, dude. This is cool. This reminds me back of the 2018, 2019. I'll put the link in the show notes below so everybody can go look at it. But we've done a whoops on this before. So I'm watching with excited, optimistic pragmatism. Google did this. Google declared quantum supremacy back in 2018, 2019. And they were able to pull off computing that would have taken a traditional computer 10,000 years, and they did it in 2 minutes. Unfortunately, a week later, a standard computer did in 5. But still. And I'm not saying that it wasn't still an amazing feat. Don't get me wrong. New form factor, new materials, new resources, new opportunities. I'm all for it. But fool me once, shame on me.
If Google did the quantum supremacy, is Microsoft going to come out with the quantum ultimatum? Is that what the Born?
I think that would be pretty cool. Honestly,
are we going to? Does that have to be dolphined out because of the Born supremacy? I don't know.
I don't think Google cares that much. You know what? They don't have enough qubits to figure that out. So, yeah, Googles, don't go after me. But you know what? I want to hear from our MSPs. Do you have the qubits, or are you still playing qubit on NES 64? I don't know.
Is anyone using it? That's what I want to know. I mean, I literally talked about the story. Is anyone using Copilot for Azure Quantum? Is anyone using an AI model for quantum calculations and simulations? There are a lot of companies out there that are doing this, that are pushing this. Granted, the quantum computing, which is purpose-built in most cases, is pretty effective and efficient. I'm just wondering, is any of our audience using it?
You know what? And I will say I'm guilty of this everywhere in Microsoft that says enable AI. I just did this on Loop today. Loop.microsoft.com. If you guys aren't using it, it's sort of the next evolution of OneNote. And yeah, it said enable AI, and I'm like, or enable Copilot, and I'm like, yeah, do it. I'm in. Let's see what happens. What's the worst could happen? My accounts could get stolen, and shit. Tony, can we do some notables?
Yeah, I just went to loop.microsoft.com and all my stuff got stolen. Thanks, Ray. Let's get into notables. And in my first notable mention from bleepingcomputer.com, ASUS urges customers to patch critical router vulnerabilities. ASUS released a new firmware for multiple routers to fix security vulnerabilities and advised customers to update their devices right away, or restrict WAN access until devices are secured. The firmware fixes 9 security flaws, including high and critical ones. The critical vulnerabilities, CVE 2022-26-376 and CVE 2018-1160, could lead to a denial of service conditions, code execution, and arbitrary code execution on unpatched devices. The company warns to disable certain services accessible from the WAN side if they choose not to install the new firmware. ASUS emphasizes the importance of periodic audits of equipment and security procedures for better production. Customers are urged to patch their routers immediately and follow recommended security measures provided by ASUS. And in my next notable mention from bleepingcomputer.com, UPS discloses a data breach after exposed customer info used in SMS phishing. UPS is warning Canadian customers about a potential data breach that has exposed personal information through its online package lookup tools, leading to phishing attacks. Initially disguised as a phishing awareness letter, UPS revealed that it had received reports of fraudulent text messages containing recipients' names and addresses. After investigating issues, UPS discovered that threat actors had exploited their package lookup tools between February 2022 and April 2023 to access delivery details and personal contact information. The exposed information includes names, shipment addresses, and potentially phone numbers and order numbers. UPS is taking measures to restrict access and is notifying affected individuals.
Good news, everyone. Your phishing game is about to get an AI assist, and no, I don't mean ChatGPT is coming to your reel. In an article from darkreading.com, Ironscales, a cloud email security provider, has introduced Themis Copilot for Microsoft Outlook, a chatbot that assists users in identifying phishing emails. The chatbot utilizes Fish LLM, Ironscales' large language model, and is trained through reinforcement learning from human feedback, using the company's Themis AI security dataset. By educating users on how to recognize phishing attempts and continuously learning from new examples, Themis Copilot aims to reduce business email compromise, BEC, and false positives. This comes as a response to the increasing issue of BEC, which has cost businesses $50 billion globally in the past decade. So what do you think, MSPs? Is AI a good candidate to filter our emails, or does this just mean we're going to have more important emails in our junk folder? Does it make a difference that they're using reinforcement learning from humans? I think it might. It's yet to be seen. Sound off in the MMN Discord. Let us know how you feel about this. Well, I'm Phil Buck. That's this week's AI Roundup. I'll see you all next week. There are plenty of amazing upcoming events taking place across the community, so let's see what's happening this week. On June 26th through the 28th, an in-person event, Kaseya/DattoCon Europe in Dublin, Ireland. And on June 29th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Cyber Insurance Masterclass, A Winning Strategy, the Business Review presented by Huntress. And on June 29th through the 30th, another in-person event, Millionaire Mastermind Peer Groups Q2. And coming from the MSP Media Network this week, we have later today at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, Pitch It 2023, a vendor spotlight featuring Hackware and VCIO Toolbox. And on June 29th at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, the Tech Bar Podcast, episode 61 with Ricky Cicchini of Cloud Radio. And as always on Tuesdays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, MSP Dispatch, presented by the MSP Media Network.
Powerhouse Ray.
And I'm Super Cousin Danny.
And we're the hosts of
The Tech Bar.
Pull up a stool with us every other Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern for drinks, jokes, and games with your friends in the MSP channel. So how'd you like today's show? If you liked it, hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, go ahead and hit it twice, or 3 times, or 5 times. And if you want to hear more, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on the YouTubes or your favorite podcatcher. Did you know we also have a Discord where we post stories all week? You can propose your own stories and even vote on which ones we'll cover. As my friend Rich Banky says, make sure to tell a friend. Also, be sure to follow us on social media at MSP Media TV. Have any questions? Email news@mspmedia.tv for answers on the next episode, or leave us a voicemail, 833 MSP Network. Tony, I'm confident in saying we have all the qubits, and we are the MSP supremacy.
As long as we have 1.28 qubits, that's all that matters. Ray, today was amazing. For those of you who don't understand, Ray is right now in a meeting with. Can we talk about that? What you're doing?
Yeah, we can talk about it. Preparing for ChannelCon. We're with the CDAC, the CompTIA.
I missed the CDAC.
Channel Development Advisory Council. You know this. You were on it. You brought me into it.
I was in a meeting all day in a college, creating the curriculum for IT and what are the requirements for the next IT, AA, AS, etc., and moving into a 4-year degree. So these are the things that we do, and we did not cover qubits. So I'm going to leave this. I'm going to go back and say, we need qubits. Damn it, qubits.
How many qubits?
1.28.
There you go. 1.82.
Something like
28 gigaqubits. I don't know.
Great show.
1.21. Of course, we're getting Phil. I realized today Phil Googles a lot. I don't know. I'm not sure he's as smart. You remember the time where we thought the song was his, and he had actually just found it on one of our resources, one of our media libraries. I think
he runs a podcast about AI. He is AI inside.
Oh, good point.
Just through osmosis alone. It's not even fair having a conversation with him.
Phil may be qubits. It may be AI. With that, I will leave you with that pondering question. Ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate you spending time with us. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Be safe.
This has been a broadcast of the MSP Media Network.
Absolutely. I mean, in my second top story, we're going to talk about training, specifically Kaseya and Datto's
Kaseya.
This is why I needed. This is why we needed bloopers. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you, Phil. Now, Tony. Sorry, if you could hear that. We have an automatic cat feeder that we're throwing away, and it's the beep beep beep. It does this. And the cats don't care about the beeping.
They don't give a shit.
I just got to write, and it's in a box to go to the dump, and I'm just sitting there staring at it. I'm like, all right, I think we're good.
Okay.
All right.
That was really funny. Okay, so Tony, sorry. Here, listen. Okay, I think we're good.
Can you hear the beeping?
Yes, yes. Ding, 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 ding.
Oh. Yeah, I'll do my own muted dance.
He is on mute.
All right.